So this is Ronald Shaw with FTT 104-53406 on the detail strip. Today's date is March 30th, 2025. So on our video for our final assignment, we have to detail strip a firearm of our choice. The firearm that I chose was my 1911 American Tactical 45 ACP. So after many attempts, I cannot get it back together. Have watched several videos, literature, schematics. It just cannot get past the disconnect and sear putting the hammer in. So as you can see, this is a cleared workspace. The firearm has been deemed cleared and safe. I have it sitting in front of me with all the pieces tore apart. So I guess we can just go through the basic field strip and clearing of the firearm. So we pulled the magazine, made sure that there was no live ammunition or any ammunition in the magazine. Then before doing the field strip, I did pull the slide to the rear, locked it in, did a visual and physical check to make sure that there was no live ammunition in the chamber and made sure that the barrel was free of any obstructions. And then I proceeded to do the field strip. For the field strip, you take the barrel bushing, you swing it off to the side, placing your finger over the button and spring, because it is under spring tension, so it will go flying across the room. Then once we removed that, we can then slide our bushing back to the back across the other direction so that it can be removed when we remove the barrel. So once we slide the slide back to the rear, we can take our slide lock pin and press it from the other side, pushing it out, releasing the slide. We can then take the slide off, and then we can pull our barrel out with the lug out, removing the barrel and having all our pieces. So that would be the basic field strip. So once it was field stripped, what I had done then was removed both grips from the frame. So I removed those. Then the next thing that I did, I moved into the slide. And there is a pin in the end, and that's under spring tension. So you push the pin down, slide out the keeper. Once you slide that out, you keep your hand and everything over top of it to keep that spring tension from shooting parts across your workshop. So then we removed our firing pin and spring, and we set those in our magnetic tray so we don't lose any of those. And then once that is done, we can take and stand the slide up, and with the slide up, we put a punch through the end and put it onto our ejector. And then we can take a small hammer that was provided to us by SDI, or if you've had your firearm apart enough, with a little bit of pressure on the punch, it does just slide right out. So once we have all that out, we can set that off to the side, and we come back to the frame, and there's another pin on the bottom that holds your mainspring in. So you put your punch on there, drift the pin out, keeping your thumb on there because it is under tension. Pull that pin out, and then you can slide your mainspring down, leaving it still in contact. You then would take your hammer, your safety, and remove it carefully, because right in here is a plunger that has a spring that's under spring tension. So that will shoot out across the room if you're not paying attention. So you want to make sure that you do not lose that. So once that's out and you have your safety out, you can then remove the dovetail safety. So you would slide that, it just literally slides right out. Once you have that out, you can then remove your hammer. Set that all off to this. Oh, before you remove your hammer, you have two more pins that you have to drift out, here and here. One is for your sear and your disconnect, sear, if you can see that. There we go. So then you remove your hammer, and once you remove your hammer, you can then continue to slide out your mainspring. So that'll come out, and then you can remove this spring. And then with those out, your sear and your disconnecting pin rod will literally fall out. And that is where I am at currently. One more before you, so you can remove the trigger, you have to remove your mag release. So with this, as I found out on the 1911s, everything will come out. It's just a matter of finesse and finding the right sweet spot, so to speak. So you put a little bit of tension on your mag release, and then there's a flathead screw on the back side. You turn that counterclockwise. Again, it is under spring tension. So then you will pull all that out as one piece. And then once you pull that out, you can then take your trigger and slide it out the back. And then everything's in reverse. So then you would put your trigger back in, mag release back in, and then that is where I am currently hung up, is getting the sear and disconnect rod to orientate with the hammer. I have had this thing apart probably 50 times and put back together, watched videos, used flashlights, tried everything that I can come up with, and I am going to keep continuing, but needed to get this project done. So there is at least a disassembly for a American Tactical M1911 G1.